Hello, my friend. Zueljin here. Welcome to the Cobblestone Chronicles. Today I want to show you around the estate a little bit and talk to you about some of the work that I've been doing and also discuss some topics that I've been thinking about that I'd like you guys help with. So let's take a walk around a little bit. It's becoming night, and one of the worst things about night here lately is the spawn rates are relatively crazy. I want to show you exactly what happens, which is the reason why I'm going to be recording at night, just to show you how hard it is to manage. As a builder in Minecraft, I'm always looking for aesthetically pleasing, and this is really difficult with torches everywhere. One of the main sources that you can get that isn't a torch is hard to get, which is glowstone, and another one is pumpkins. Well, pumpkins aren't hard to get. They do really create an eyesore unless they're placed appropriately, and I really don't want to do that. What I'm thinking about is a few options that I'd like your plans with. The first thing that I'm going to implement is trying to torch all of the trees, meaning that when I see trees here, I'm going to place torches on either side of them. And that is going to create probably a little bit better of a look than ground torches, even though the light levels aren't as good. I don't want to eliminate spawn because I think a little bit of it is still healthy, and also passively getting experience just throughout walking the grounds is pretty cool. But I do not want torches all over the place with particle effects every single step of the way. Another thing that I've done recently is I've bordered off my streams here a little bit. And here we go. Here's the visitors that I was telling you about. I've boarded off the streams, and I've also hedged the entire acreage off. And what I mean by that is I added a 3-high wall of hedge that goes around here. Now, I do have enough hedges to make it double wide, which is kind of what I want to do because the transparency is a little bit too exact. I'd also like it to be more of an estate feel. So because these grounds that I've been working on, like I mentioned last episode, the big picture is what I'm really worried about, and it seems like the lag is really strong too. So I've killed about 2 or 3 zombies so far, and as you can see, they just keep on coming. Let's go down here at some of my newer projects, and we'll start seeing some of the other dangers that await. The lag seems to be really vicious today. Oh wow, and I'm getting hit all over the place. I think a couple of potatoes are in order, and I'm seeing that there are more mobs this way. So as you can see, it's getting significantly tough to just get around here, and that was in full armor, so a little bit of lag will do stuff like that to you, which is terrible. Not only yeah, ouch. That's my buddy Midnight Designer. Not only does it create, is it really hard to manage, but it kills my levels like every single time I do it. So the little bit of progress that I have been making towards things, like enchanting my tools without going on farming, hours and hours of AFK farming to fix tools and things like that, it's just very counterproductive, as you can probably tell. So I am going to do my best to light this place up. One of the things that we need to do in order to be able to work and talk effectively is probably let this get to daytime. So I'll meet you back at the house after I've gathered my wits, and we can go over some of the changes that I've made. So stay tuned, guys, and we'll be right back. Alright, now that it's day and we can actually function a little bit without getting our behinds whipped, I'd like to show you a couple of the areas that I've been working on. Mainly in this area here. I did show off the potato farm a little bit last time, but I also added a pumpkin farm because just because I don't like the way pumpkins look don't mean they aren't useful, because we could still use jack-o'-lanterns in different areas. I just don't want them standing up all over the place to create light. I think that's counterproductive. So I ended up doing this little design here. Pretty simple. The pumpkins aren't the most efficient in the world. It's not the most efficient design in the world, but it does what I needed to do. As you can see, the pumpkins grow pretty good, and it's not like we need thousands of it, and it's made to be a little more aesthetic than just practical. So if I wanted to do something real practical, I would have implemented pistons and things like that. And as you saw, the potato farm, which works really good. It's not the most practical either. There's some areas in the middle where some of the potatoes fall sometime, but it's a good looking little greenhouse and I like it. I'd like to get a few more of these online for the different types of plants that we're gonna have, and also when the new patches come in and we get all the flowers and things like that, the server is going to need a spot for those as well. So the estate is a good place for that. That's what I've dubbed this place, by the way, is the estate. I think it's a catchy little title, and it's kind of my properties, you know. So what I need to do is light and add light to a bunch of this existing area. And one of the things that I was worried about, namely, is getting enough torches on the trees. The leaves are going to come later. I'm forming them over on the desert area that I'll show you in a minute. There's a big plot that I set aside. Man, we have so many problems here today. I set aside a big plot of trees, and mainly it's just a grid set up so that I can harvest the leaves from them and then cut down the all of the wood after that, and then do it again, replant. So as I collect saplings, I'm just gathering leaves and replanting as I go. So it's a pretty good setup. It's not the best, but it works out well. What I mostly wanted to talk about today while I do some of these menial tasks, I guess I'm going to go 2 down, is introductions and just the way that I address you as my viewer. Now I know this is probably not the most heavily debated topic, but it's something that weighs on me because every once in a while I hear an intro from a YouTuber that I really like, and sometimes I hear an intro from a YouTuber that I don't particularly like. Recently, Midnight Designer, which is on now, joined the server, and he refers to his viewer as Pat. And I won't give away all the reasons why he did that because it's quite ingenious in my opinion. But I've recently been told that other people have views that make that a little bit disengaging, and that's fine. His unique style is something that the internet needs, and I'm proud to have him part of the server. But what I mainly think about when I think about addressing someone is making them feel good, you know, not as in a good way like in customer service, but I want a warm feeling, kind of like when somebody comes into my own home. Maybe they've been there before, and there's some formalities that you have to stick by with YouTube, kind of like introducing yourself, even though you have seen me probably a number of times, or you may not have. But most people that view my videos have seen one of my videos or more before. So talking to you about who I am seems a little disingenuous, although it's necessary, and I'm sure you can agree with that. Another thing is channel identity, and one of the main reasons that I'm discussing these things with you is when you see I almost just said you guys here, and that would mean that I was addressing more than just you, which is watching this. You may or may not have a person on the side of you, but you are the viewer, so that's why it's important to me. So I've been attending something called YouTube Creator Academy, and I gotta tell you, it's really interesting. It's got me thinking about things like my channel trailer and my channel art, branding, which is kind of like what makes you on YouTube. With the channel 1 background and design, some of the customization options are fantastic, while others are not so fantastic. The old style channels the way you could do things with them enabled much more creativity, in my opinion. But the new model is out, and if we want to play, we have to do what they say. So I didn't even mean for that to rhyme, it just kind of happened, but you get my drift. Really and truly, it's, you either deal with it or you don't deal with it, and I have chose to embrace it. That was a terrible lag spike. I've chose to embrace it. That's the only thing that I think is appropriate to do when you have change that you must deal with. If you have a change in hours, or a change in schools, or even a change in living situations, and sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. And I kind of hate that phrase, but it's the truth. When you think about things in terms of YouTube, there's so many different types of YouTubers, and some are much more casual than others. Some are in it for the money only. Some people just have a real passion for it, like myself. And a lot of people question the money motives behind that. And I'll tell you a little secret about my money motives. My money motives aren't to get rich. Me saying that I was not interested in the money would be false and untrue. What I am interested in the money for is the ability to do this much more regularly, in place of the job that I choose to go to every day. One of my biggest accomplishments, I'd say, in my life is learning that happiness is not what you can do, it's what you are doing. And it's important to me to be able to do things that I like on a regular basis. One of those is spend time with my family. Another one is to enjoy and be proud of what I do on a day-to-day basis, and not be forced to make decisions for things like money. And YouTube can do just that for me. It might not happen overnight, but it's not something that I want to shy away from. I know that hard work is kind of necessary and comes with the territory, and I don't mind doing that at all. I really wanted to embrace my growth and to earn it. If I was given a ticket to something that would substantially increase my audience, I think that would be a great thing, although it's not something that I'm dependent on. I know that this takes, just like anything else that's really good, it takes a lot of hard work and devotion, and it also takes tenure, and some people fail to realize that. When you watch larger YouTubers, most of them, not all of them, but most of them have worked to get where they are, in some form or fashion, some much harder than others. There's so much debate on PewDiePie's talent and Smosh and things like that. And really, it's all about entertainment quality. Not all of our styles match, and I won't say that I admire PewDiePie. I admire his success. What I will say is that the guy has a brand, his brand of entertainment, and he does that very well, and I can respect that. Also, when you think about channel branding, channel art, and just your identity, things that show you to be unique in the wide world of videos, is really hard to come by unless you have those talents. Now, those talents can be learned, but naturally people that are, brilliant at them do them much better. Some people pay other people to do them for them. Some people get their subscribers to do them for free, and sometimes a person will just learn. And that's my take on editing. As far as creating I need to fix all these holes. As far as creating stuff, thumbnails are relatively easy to me, although I don't have the most remarkable thumbnails. I do pride myself in creating some decent stuff. Photoshop and GIMP and things, I know how to use them, but not as effectively as I should. And some things, what's good about learning stuff like that is that what you do is you learn one technique, and from then on you can implement it. Now, I'm not talking about memorizing or just looking at a tutorial just to be able to duplicate something or replicate something. I'm talking about actually learning and being able to implement that into your needs, into your channel or whatever the case may be. So that's something I'm working on, just kind of like I did with editing. I'm out of torches and it's out of night. Let's continue this conversation when the sun comes back up and when I have a fresh load of torches. Be back. Alright, so now that most of the smoke is cleared and the last few mobs are dying away, if we can just get rid of this creeper since the sun doesn't really damage them. There we go. Back to what I was talking about. So, I was talking about channel trailers and channel art and stuff like that, and those are things that I want to get better at. Those are things that I'm willing to invest time in to make better. That way I can implement them over and over and over, and it's also a learning process, and I really like that about YouTube. It forces you to come out and really learn and try to get better at what you do if you want to succeed. And it's also it's hard for me to explain this, but in my life, if I don't feel like I'm moving forward, I feel kind of stagnant and it demotivates me. So when I learn stuff like that, even though I don't get subscribers immediately from it, or the kind of views that I thought I would get on a specific video, if I learned something by going through the motions and really just trying to get better that day, I feel accomplished, and that's important to me. So I'm gonna start learning that. As for what the impacts of art and stuff like that is on a channel, the studies are proving to be a little bit mixed. One of the things that YouTube is changing is the way that viewers see their videos from subscribed feeds. Now, I have been a victim recently of losing every one of the subscriptions on my channel. Now, I know most of these people. I know them really well, so when I don't see stuff from their channels, I automatically know what's going on. One of the things that I use is an alert feature that you can set up through subscription management, which makes YouTube email you every single time you do a video, every single time that someone uploads a video that you're subscribed to. You can select those and make it to where when that channel uploads a video, you get an email. So I use that throughout the day. Sometimes I put them in my watch later list, or sometimes I just give them a like and I'll just search through my liked videos that day when I get time to watch videos. Another thing that separates retention is the amount of time that people watch your videos for various reasons. Tutorials usually get a higher audience retention, but that's not something that I want to be known for. I do like doing video editing tutorials, but I don't want to be the go-to guy to instruct people on how to do specific things, unless it's to my common interest. Maybe build techniques, or how to do a nice roof, or aesthetically making gardens or furniture and things like that. That's more of my speed. Making tutorials on how to do redstone doors and things like that, not so much my interest. And even though I aspire to do what makes me grow on YouTube, I really don't want to do anything that I'll be forced to keep up with that I don't thoroughly and really enjoy. So that's my story about that. And I just fell in a hole. Here we go, some more torches here. So I think the last point, and something that I touched on earlier, was my introduction. How I introduce myself and the way that I address you. That's really important to me. Now, I was talking with Tick, and Tick also did a video that is very interesting on these very subjects that we're speaking on now. So if you haven't tuned out yet, you may want to check that out. It's he's got some really fine points, and I can very much empathize with the way he feels, even though we have some mixed views on it. But one of the things about being on YouTube and having people watch my videos, it's a celebration for me. When I see growth, when I see viewership, and when I get comments, things like that really get me going. So even though I don't always respond to every single comment, I do read them. Contrary to popular belief, even the larger YouTubers that don't respond to every comment usually read all their comments, because I know a few of them that have really large subscriber counts that it really affects them, especially when they see negative comments. And even though you can't please everyone, and it's always the vast majority of people that you got to think about, if they're going to find something negative, they will, and they'll point it out to you. Because just like customers, sometimes viewers can be very demanding. You guys, my subscribers, are not demanding, and I just addressed you as an audience, so that's something that I want to stop doing. But you are not demanding. You, the person that's watching me right now, you are not demanding. And I appreciate you watching my videos, I really do. And I want to celebrate that. And I also would like to accomplish grabbing your attention within the first 30 seconds, because I know that's important for me too. As I go through YouTube and search for videos on various topics, and especially about different games, because I'm interested in a lot of games, even though I mainly only produce Minecraft, I get to these points to where I notice things about other channels that I really get psyched up about. And one thing that doesn't do that for me is when the commentator is just drab, or they start out, you can barely understand who they are, or sometimes they're blurting out, or sometimes their dialect or their accent is just so strong that you can't interpret what they say. And it's I get inbox messages all the time. Hey, can you tell me what I could do better about my channel? I don't find that I'm any kind of model for success, but I do know that I do some things well, and what I can do is critique something based on my experience. I guess that's Ruby. I don't know what's up with him hollering like that. So me grabbing your attention in the first 30 seconds is one thing that the YouTube Create Academy says is necessary. And I also think that it's very important in general too, because of my own viewing perspective. When I look at not just my videos, but other people's videos, it's something that should be focused on, kind of like a good commercial. It should do a few things. It should put you at ease, welcome you to whatever we're watching, whatever the viewer is watching, and it should also set yourself up for what you're about to see. Set you up for what you're about to see. And those are some things that I lack. Like today's intro was kind of weak, and I don't know why. I want to be hospitable by nature. That's my good Southern manners, I guess. But I want to do stuff that you can really relate to, although it doesn't have any. It doesn't have any oomph, if you know what I mean. It really doesn't. When you're that genuine, and not genuine, I guess that's the wrong word. When you're that pleasant and calm and mild-mannered, kind of like you would be when someone would come into your home, you cannot truthfully make that person feel like it's a celebration that you're seeing them through the internet. So my remedy to this is, I think I'm going to make each and every episode I do, the intros, a celebration. Very small, very short, kind of tell you what's going to happen for the day, and make you feel good about what you watch, make you excited about what you're about to see, because I'm excited to show it to you. Another thing that I'd like to do, especially in my Minecraft videos, is get to where you and I can do stuff like this, but still make progress instead of just placing torches all over the place. And that's going to come with tenure, that's going to come with practice. And I think what I'm going to do is study my own work for a long enough period of time to be able to determine how I can better do that. I think if I have a project in mind and a very specific plan, I'll be able to do that. So maybe some pre-production preparation is necessary instead of my usual post-production editing. And I guess that will possibly help me to accomplish what I want. For those of you that are still with me, yes, I'm talking to you. Thank you again for being here and listening to me. Please do me a favor. Say something in the comments about what you thought about today's commentary, kind of the things that I talked about, and the direction that I'm thinking about taking. If you have any personal preferences, please let me know what you'd like to see and hear. I'd love to be able to oblige you or explain why I can't oblige you. And most of all, I'm really looking forward to seeing what you have to say. I really am. I know I talk about this very briefly usually, and sometimes too much and long-windedness, but I'm really happy that you're subscribed to me or that you're watching this video and you are a part of something that means so very much to me. I really do appreciate it. I'm gonna cut it short because I have been talking way too much, but I do believe we got a bunch of the estate lighted, and we're going to come back next time, and I'll maybe grab some friends. And Woolly Creeper has implemented a really cool design for a block swapper that I think would do good for some ground lighting. I'm not too sure how it's going to work yet. I might do a few of those, and I might do some tiki torches as well. But for the most part, I'm really happy with the way things are turning out here, and I guess that's it. Thank you guys, and thank you for watching so very much, and as always, it's Zueljin signing off. Have a good one.